welcome back to the channel. My name is Motors, and this is not my Jeep Next. This is, again, my wife's Toyota Tacoma. It's a 2018, and we've had a few problems, actually not a few problems, one problem with this vent right here. I'm sure some of you have probably experienced that either on your vehicle or another similar setup of this vent, because this is getting pretty popular with the 3 vents that spin around. Well, about a month or so ago, or maybe even 2, this top flap no longer controlled or pulled the rest of these along with it. So I ordered one. Hopefully I could have gotten it fixed under warranty, but I guess Toyota is just too busy. They're not even returning people's phone calls. So I ordered the part, I waited a week and a half, went down there and just picked it up and said, I'll do this myself. So I did a little research to figure out how to get this off, and it's actually a lot easier than I thought. I thought I was going to have to get some pry tools and things like that to take it off, but it's actually pretty easy. Let me show you. You basically just grab it and pop it off. That's it. Whoop. So to get that off, we had this vent right here, the one that was broken, but I'm sure they all go on the same way. There's just some clips back here that you release, and then you get the vent comes out the back. Once you get it all replaced, you just pop it back on there, and it's good. So here is the vent that I replaced. I took it apart. I'm going to show you how I fixed it. Pretty detailed. I know sometimes I'm crazy about fixing stuff, but this was a $75 part, and I just didn't feel like I should just throw it away. So I'll take it in. It's 114 degrees outside today, so I'm not working in the garage. I'm going to do this in the house and see if we can get it fixed. Actually, I've already fixed it. So I'll show that next and give you those details. Let's go. So after you've removed the vent, again, this is the one of the dash vents on a 2018 Toyota Tacoma, and I'm sure there's other vehicles that have this exact same design that might help you out. After you remove it, you can see that you can see that one of the flaps, or the top one, doesn't work. It doesn't pull the other ones along with it when you want to open and close it. So I basically had ordered one and was hoping that maybe I would get it under warranty, and they said it'd be in a couple of days over at the Toyota dealer, and it actually took, I waited about a week and a half, and they never called me. So I went and checked, see if it was in, and they had it, but they didn't call for me to schedule anything. And it's whatever, you know, I can fix it. But there's the part number of this particular vent, so you know if you have the exact same one. And actually, I had already replaced the one in the vehicle, and then decided I would see if I could fix this or see what was wrong with it, because it was like a $75 part. I took it apart. After you get it out, it just kind of comes apart there. And I fixed it. It seemed like it works, so I'm not going to throw it away. But I'm doing this for you guys. I disconnected this flap again so I could show you exactly what I did. So I'll do the best that I can here to show you as I'm looking at the part and the camera to make sure that you guys can see. This little arm right here with the little catch right there, I'll zoom in with some photos, but you can see that part, that little pin right there. Somehow that was not connected when I took it apart. So I fumbled around with it, got a couple of little tools, and figured out how to get that back on there. So let me see if I can get a better angle on this and show you what I did. Okay, so we've got it zoomed in, and you can see that that piece there, you know, it actually looks kind of boogered up a little bit. I'm not sure why, but it doesn't look like anything has broken off of it. That was my first concern. So I was just able to slide it back on that pin right there. It's kind of a tight fit, so I'm using a couple little small tools just to get it pushed back in there and slipped on. So let me do that real quick. You have to, when you move the main two flaps, that pin actually moves further away, so you can push this down past it. I'm not sure if you can see that. Push it down past it and pull it back into place. And then I used a different kind of a hook tool, came in there and pulled it back on the pin there. So now you can see that it's back on the pin, and when you flip it over, everything moves again. So let me zoom out a little. Oops. So now that we're zoomed out a little bit, you can see that after getting that back on there, oh, there it goes. It popped off. So let me see what happened there. Just do that again. Use the other tool to pop it back on. And let's see if that's strong enough to stay into place. Seems like it's working. I guess you can't get too rough with it. And I honestly don't know how that came off of there. But there's actually nothing I can figure out to do to, if you put glue or anything on there, then that won't be able to rotate. So, you know, at least this is a maybe a temporary repair for some of you guys out there, but I am gonna keep this. And if it breaks, if one of the other ones breaks, I'll either know how to fix it, or maybe I can steal some parts off of it. I can see that this kind of slides together in a few different ways, but you know, it is working as long as I don't push too hard. So, okay, you guys, so the more I sit here and look at this and play with it, I can see that this popping that clip back on that little post or pin there, it's not going to stay very well. So I'm going to see if I can come up with something that I can use that will maybe hold that on there and still pull the top flap along with it. It does have to rotate. Can't stay stationary. So thinking maybe if I can't find some sort of a clip I could make, I'm wondering if I used a small dot of hot glue. So I'm thinking I'm gonna try that first before I rummage through my spare parts bin, like I'm sure a lot of you may have, and see what we can come up with. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got the hot glue gun. Gonna let that warm up a little bit, and gonna give this a shot. I'd sure like to save this part if I could. If this was a $5 vent, of course it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but 75 bucks, if I can save this with a little dab of hot glue, I'll fix it and wait for the next one to break. I know a lot of these parts on these vehicles are made out of plastic, so I guess they could only last so long, especially in this Las Vegas desert heat. So we've got some cardboard laid down. I'm not working in the garage today because it's 112 degrees outside today, so I'm sure the garage is nice and toasty. So we'll get this thing going. So it looks like the hot glue is starting to pour, so let's get this thing going here. So we are just gonna see if I can do this and show you guys at the same time. Just gonna give it one dab of glue. There we go. And I also made sure that the tab was still connected. We'll let that set up just a little bit before we move it too much. Hot glue dries pretty fast, cools down. So let's see what happens here if I try to move it. Let's just flip it over and move it like normal. Oh, it popped loose. You can see it came completely out of there. It popped out. Right there. Doesn't look like it has any glue on it. So let's try it again. We'll pull that out. Nope, I'm not a doctor. Don't play one on TV. But get this back into position. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Okay, looks like it's back on. You can see right in there. So it looks like it's back on. Let's put a dab of glue in there. Try it again. Going hot. Okay. Give that just a half a second to cool off. This might not work, but we're going to give it a shot. And let's see what happens if I try pushing on it here. Gently, it's a little firm. That seemed to work going in that direction. I think it's still connected. See what happens if we try closing it. I'm operating it from the front as if it was in the vehicle. I felt it come loose. At least I thought it did. Yeah. Yep. Somehow it's pulling when it's opening, but it doesn't pull them all closed. So let me take a closer look and see what's happening. Okay, you guys, so the hot glue is a no-go. It just won't allow it to move freely enough before the glue comes loose. So I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna film it the most I can, except for the boring parts. I'll cut that out. But basically what I'm gonna do, or attempt to do, is this arm here is attached by that pin down there. So I'm gonna attempt to take this arm off, and just found a piece of plastic. It's kind of heavy duty, not too bad. It's also thin enough to fit down in there. And I'm just gonna try to make that part and see if that works. So let me see if I can get that off without doing too much damage, and we'll go from there. Okay, so grabbed a couple other little tools to see if that might help me out. Got a tiny little flathead, another little bit larger one, and then a kind of a hole punch that I use for a lot of different things. So let me see if we can get this off of here, and that way we have a pattern that we can go by here. Need to throw some light on the subject. We will see if we can get this off. Almost got her. There it is. So yeah, that's it, guys. So I guess that piece was broken. Not sure how that happened, but it happened. So let me see if I can make something. Doesn't necessarily have to be exactly like this, because this is pretty thin, you know, in comparison. But maybe we can get something to work. I think what's most important that is that it is the same length. So let's get started. First, we're just gonna cut it general shape. Pretty close. Pretty close. Trying to keep it in the camera view and I guess look at it at the same time. A little harder than it seems. Okay. That's the general shape there. Yeah. Cut just a little bit off this edge. And then we'll see if we can poke a couple of holes. Not all the way through at this point because I don't want to go through this cardboard and damage this countertop, because this is not the workshop. Got a couple of holes there, if you can see those. So now let me see if I can make them bigger to fit. First, I'm just going to test it. So poke a hole, and if I push it through, can I get the right size hole without deforming it so much that it won't fit on there? Because I may need to heat this up to get a nice hole without getting that protrusion there. But that actually might also help it hold. So let's try that and see what happens. Push that through. Kind of judge that based on the original hole. Go a little further. Make a better hole on this one here. Oops. I know you guys probably think I'm crazy for doing this, but I enjoy this stuff. I mean, if I can fix something, I'd rather fix it. Hate to throw stuff away that's, you know, still kind of good. Okay, we'll try a test fit here. Get my hand in there and hold this just right. Take one of the tools and try to push it over that pin. Almost out of the camera. Whoops. All right. Looks like my hole needs to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, needs to be a little bigger. I think I'm gonna cut another piece here. Give it another shot. Just gonna cut another. Let's scoot this camera out some. Okay, this one, don't like that. Let's go this way. Okay, get this centered up. couple of holes where it should be. Okay. So now we're going to try it a little different. I'm going to heat it up. Be right back. The joys of a gas stove. So I think this is still hot. And I will show you. Oh, it's not as hot. It didn't hold the heat all the way over here. Let's warm it back up. Okay. Let's see. That stays warm enough, long enough for me to poke that in on camera. Yeah. A little better. I'm gonna heat it up off camera. You can see first hole I did at the stove melted that perfectly clean hole. So let me get that one taken care of. Okay. So this plus some fire got me these holes. Tried to get them to match the diameter of the holes here. Not too big so they would be sloppy if I get this back on there. But that seemed to work pretty good. So let me see if it's any chance I can get this to pop on here. Might need to trim this to get a little bit of clearance on these corners so when it moves it doesn't get bound up. So let me just try to trim this right now just in case I get it on there and don't want to take it back off. Okay, let's give it a shot here. Okay, so that, yeah, that's the top side. It's kind of awkward to try to hold this when you can't reach the other side of it. All right, looks like we got that one on. Just trying to press it down a little bit. And then we will rotate this up into place and see if we can get it on there. This side could be a little bigger around, I think, to help clear that hole. Yeah, let me see. Swing that back out of there. Yep. Feel like I got that one on there, but the one in the back came off. try to get that rotated back up. Yep. So what's on there? I don't know about you guys, but I think that fixed it. Kind of a crazy repair, but it works. We made our own little bracket to replace that one. So I'll move it around a little bit here and there and see if that completely fixes it. All right, you guys, I think that's it. I've been operating this back and forth quite a bit, and it seems like it is going to hold. You can see that piece we made there moving around. That's it. All right, you guys, so that's it. Just like magic. We've got the new vent installed. That's the one that I bought from the dealer. This is the old one that I am now going to save just in case any of these other ones decide to have the same problem. So, hey guys, save yourself a little money. Check some of these things out before you go running down to the dealer and hand that hard-earned cash over to them. So hey, if you like what you're seeing, click and subscribe. Tell your friends about me. Of course, hit that like button and notification button so you see everything that I do. And we'll see you next time. Take care.